Good morning and welcome to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in our community. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. We're live daily weekdays at 9:30. Before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone, an educator, student, business, or organization from our Greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. If you would like to submit an entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen, fill out the Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why you think they should be recognized for our Person of the Week. Now let's go check out what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library has started their virtual programming that includes a variety of interactive events for all ages. The library has some great events this week that you can register for now. Today they have their 9:30 and 11 a.m. virtual Positively Preschool courses, and at 7 p.m. they'll be having author Paul Vachon on to talk virtually about how the human intervention shaped Detroit's automotive industry in his book, Becoming the Motor City, A Timeline of Detroit's Auto Industry. Tomorrow they will also be hosting a computer workshop at 6:30 p.m. on Google Docs and Drives, where you can learn how to create, save, and share documents and files with Google Docs and Google Drive. If you would like to register for these, you can do so by going to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library website at wblib.org. Click on their events calendar page and register by clicking on the event of your choice. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library also has those fantastic tender topic and literacy kits that you can rent out through Youth Services. If you're looking to either enhance your child's literacy or teach them about some of the tender topics, just contact the library to schedule a time to rent out a kit of your choice. The West Bloomfield Parks is working with the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force to bring a new free event to celebrate Black History Month. The Black Expo will be held on Saturday, February 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Orchard Mall. This event is free and family friendly. They will have a DJ as well as the West Bloomfield Jazz Band will perform at 11 a.m. They'll also be having some demos, displays, highlighting careers and resources and Black-owned businesses. Some of the businesses that will be there are House of Barbecue, Jewels by Joyce, Authentic Existence, and so many more. For all these events, you can head over to the West Bloomfield Parks website to register. If you have an event you would like us to feature here on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, I'll be talking with the head coach of the West Bloomfield women's varsity basketball team who's playing tonight, Darren McAllister. But before that, the West Bloomfield Historical Society hosted another one of their special open houses on Sunday to give us the history of toys in the Toy Hall of Fame. Splash reporter Brendan Schreiber took a look at some of those toys and games and talked to Sue Griffer about the history of the Toy Hall of Fame. Let's go check out some of those different toys and games.
Orchard Lake Museum, located on Orchard Lake Road, is full of fun new things to learn. Featuring several artifacts and exhibits, they also invite the public to their themed open houses. We spoke with Sue Griffer and asked a little more about these events.
Well, we're doing these Sunday open houses from 1 to 4, more often than possible. Usually people can just come in and look at the museum. It's free, but we're having some themed open houses, and today's is the Toy Hall of Fame.
During our interview, we also asked Sue to showcase what items she had on display for the toy-themed open house.
So my question to you is, what was your favorite toy growing up as a child? And it might be here. So some of the things that have been inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame, of course, Monopoly, Play-Doh, the Magic 8 Ball, which I played with as a child with my sister, Uno, Raggedy Ann and Andy, teddy bear, paper airplane, wiffle ball, and two of my very all-time favorites, the stick. And have to think outside of the box. A cardboard box was inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame. Rubber Ducks, G.I. Joe, Barbie, Matchbox, Star Wars, Crayola crayons, Slinky, on and on and on. I'm not going to tell you more because you can go there to their website and see all the toys. Also over there we have Lincoln Logs and the Erector set, blocks, and skateboard.
Discover more history here at the Orchard Lake Museum. Reporting for The Splash, I'm Brendan Schreiber.
Thank you again to Sue Griffer for taking the time to give us some insight into the Toy Hall of Fame, and thank you to the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society for hosting those fun special open houses. Later on, we'll be looking at how you can spot animal tracks in the snow right here in Greater West Bloomfield. But before that, we'll be joined by Coach Darren McAllister. He's the head coach of the women's varsity basketball team at West Bloomfield High School. We're going to talk about their season thus far and their big game tonight. All of that and more after the short break.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm Maddie Muschin. The varsity women's basketball team at West Bloomfield High School is playing Edison Academy tonight in a huge matchup at home, and I'm so excited now to be joined by their head coach, Coach Darren McAllister. Darren, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Maddie. How are you?
I'm doing great. Darren, could you tell us a little bit at first about how you got involved with the West Bloomfield team and especially the women's basketball team?
Absolutely. I've been coaching girls basketball for about 17 years now, by way of AAU, high school, and also at the collegiate level as well. My most recent varsity job was at another high school right when the pandemic started. And at that time, I had a newborn son, so I figured I needed to take a break away from coaching. And I was kind of pondering, did I want to coach anymore, or just do I need to just take a break for a while? But a friend of mine contacted me about the West Bloomfield job, and I knew it had to be the right situation for me in order for me to get back into coaching. And after interviewing for the job and speaking with the athletic director, meeting some of the parents and kids, I knew it was a perfect situation for me. So here I am.
Darren, so far the team is 14-1. Their only loss was the first game of the season to Dexter High School. What were you guys thinking when you lost that first game going into the rest of the season? You guys have such talent on the team, but what were your first thoughts headed into the season after that loss?
We knew going into that game, we had quite a few obstacles against us, being as though the COVID protocol, I think we had about 3 players out due to COVID, which were 3 of our starters, and we had some injuries and so forth. A lot of coaches would have taken the road of canceling the game. I didn't want to do that. I took it as an opportunity to prepare some other players, which would help us down the road, and it turns out that it was the right choice.
And then you guys are also 9-0 in the league in the Oakland Red. How do you guys think that target on your back is going to be, maybe bringing up some obstacles or some pressure with the girls this season?
Well, we talked about it from the beginning of the season. We knew that everybody was going to give us their best shot. Everybody wanted to say, hey, you guys are loaded, you guys have a lot of talent. But what a lot of people don't know is last year we graduated 5 seniors. We only had 1 returning starter from last year. So with that being said, we had to bring a lot of players together. We had to develop chemistry. We had to put in a game plan on the offensive and defensive end. So it's been challenging, but everyone has really bought into it. Our mantra this year has been, I believe, as you see on my shirt here. And everyone has really bought in, from the players, the parents, the administration. It's been an awesome ride so far.
Darren, let's talk about some of those key players on the team. The twins, India and Summer Davis, as well as Mayana Hooper. How instrumental have they been to where your team is right now?
Those are three of our elite players. They've been very effective on the offensive and defensive end. But the biggest thing for me is that all three of them has brought a strong role of leadership, really getting everybody on our team to buy into their role. That's not easy when you have a team that has a lot of talent. Everybody wants to show that I can do this, I can do that. But the big thing that those three players help us to do is to get everyone to define their role and to go out and execute their role.
And Darren, looking at the game tonight against Edison Academy, what will be the key to the win tonight?
One word: execution. Execution. We're definitely prepared, but I will go on record as saying this: Edison is not our season. We have bigger fish to fry. We scheduled this game, especially this late in the season, to prepare us for the postseason. So win, lose, or draw, this game was to prepare us for the postseason. But this game right here is strictly for the basketball, the high school basketball fans. A lot of people have us ranked number 2 and Edison ranked number 1. So we're going to go out there and give them a show tonight. But execution, that's what it boils down to.
And Darren, the game tonight is at home at West Bloomfield High School at 7 p.m. I saw a tweet yesterday from the student section saying that it's going to be a whiteout. They're going to bring all the fans. What type of environment do you think tonight will be either beneficial to the players with all the students there watching this big game?
Playing in the swamp, couldn't ask for anything more.
And tonight, what do you guys think that you will improve upon in the season? You guys have a 13-win game streak. Do you think that having those improvements throughout the season, are there certain things that you still need to improve upon tonight?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's quite a few things. I don't think you have enough time for me to tell you all the things we need to improve on, but we set a goal, and in order for us to accomplish that goal, we have quite a few things we need to improve on. This is another step in accomplishing those goals. Again, this game tonight is a game that's going to help us prepare for the postseason, and that was our main goal at the beginning of the season, is to go as far as we can in the postseason and possibly win the state championship. It hasn't changed. So we're excited about tonight, but tonight is just another stepping stone to get to where we want to go to.
And Darren, looking at the postseason and the state championship, I've talked to a couple of your players about where they want to be at the end of the season, either personally or with the team, and they keep on mentioning the state championship. What is the conversation either at practice or with these big games tonight for your players, and advice that you give them into heading into either a tough game like tonight or into the postseason looking for a state ring?
Well, the big thing is we tell our players of the coaching staff, we tell them, if you reach for the stars, you never come up with a handful of mud. And being said, a lot of coaches, a lot of teams, and a lot of players and programs will not mention state championship, but we mention state championship from day one, and that's our goal. So we're going to compete for a state championship, and that's basically what it boils down to. We're fighting for a state championship. And the bigger thing is, this is bigger than basketball. The lessons that we teach as coaches from West Bloomfield Varsity Girls Basketball is that we'll reach for the stars in basketball, but at the same time, it teaches us about life. And if you reach for stars in life, you're going to accomplish a lot of things as well. So it's really huge for us to continue to tell them to shoot for the stars.
And Darren, with those women's sports, they are oftentimes maybe a little bit forgotten or not viewed as much, but at West Bloomfield High School, the women's basketball team is in the front of the stage here, especially tonight. What do you tell to the players, especially the women on your team, in looking at, the pressure that they might have on them to perform, especially for the women's sports at West Bloomfield?
Well, the big thing is, the first thing I tell them is to enjoy the moment. A lot of players don't have this opportunity, so I tell them to enjoy the moment. The second thing I tell them is there's no pressure. We're hearing pressure from the outside. Hey, you guys are feeling the pressure to play Edison or to be for state championship. There's no pressure. There's no pressure for our team. There's no pressure for the coaches. Pressure to me is that parent who just lost their job and do not have an opportunity to provide for their family. Pressure is that person that has an illness that can't be resolved. That's pressure right there. But at the end of the day, it's basketball, and I tell our players, half the gym is going to love us, half is not going to love us. So at the end of the day, go out there and do it for yourself and for your loved ones, and just go out there and have fun.
Darren, as we wrap up here, what do you want to say to the fans of the women's varsity West Bloomfield basketball team as they play their big game tonight at home?
I would tell those fans to come out tonight, get your popcorn ready, and let's enjoy the ride.
Darren, thanks so much for taking time out of your morning to join us, and good luck tonight.
Thank you so much. You have a good morning as well.
Thank you. Once again, I was joined by the head coach of the West Bloomfield women's varsity basketball team, Darren McAllister, ahead of their big game tonight at home at 7 p.m. With all the beautiful snow on the ground, we aren't the only ones enjoying it. The animals around Greater West Bloomfield are too. If you're curious about what types of animals make those cool tracks on the ground, we walked in the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary with Carol Fink, who showed us those different animal tracks and how to tell which animal made them. Let's go check it out. If you've ever wondered what animals made certain tracks in the snow, we walked the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary to get some tips and tricks from Carol Fink on how to become an expert.
Hey, good morning. My name is Carol Fink. I'm at the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary, one of my favoriteest places in the world. Beautiful place to be all seasons of the year. Winter happens to be one of my favorite times because in the winter woods you're able to see a lot more of the hints that nature shows us. So a lot of people come out here, families come here. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. What works for me is when I walk in the woods, I'm entering into a beautiful, sacred, magical place. So I'm actually coming into the woods. I usually stop, take a couple breaths, leave to the rest of the world behind me, and come in and enjoy and be surrounded by beautiful nature.
Let's go take a look now at some of the tracks that Carol and I found outside at the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary.
One, they're small. Two, they hop. Three, they have a tail, and that tail rubs in the snow as they walk or run. So we came here, and they can also dive under the snow because mice, moles, and voles are really good food for predators. So they have a great ability to hide under the snow. So once again, tracks in the snow tell us a story. I'm looking at these particular tracks here. They're going in a fairly straight line, and I am assuming they are either a fox or a coyote. However, fox, coyote, they're always looking for food for their survival. So one of the ways that you can identify their tracks is they come in a straight line. They can walk in another coyote's footprints. So a lot of times if they're being pursued, it might look like there's only one coyote, but actually there could be 4 or 5 of them. So it's really awesome to look and see what's going on in the woods. Okay, back to the tracks. We've got a lot of small animals, like as we saw a lot of evidence with the mice, the jumping mice with the tail. These smaller tracks belong either to a mole or a vole, and they're very teeny little mammals that live mostly underground. They have very small eyes. But they're also, you can follow their tracks. They are really, I just think they're such an entertaining track. So they also stay low, you know, when the owls or the hawks are out. But these are either mole or vole tracks. Okay, as we travel and make our own tracks, I'm looking over here, I'm seeing deer trails. Deer usually follow each other, so a lot of times established deer trails will have several deer on them. We're looking at their feet, they've got heart-shaped hooves. So it's kind of fun to figure out, are they going this way or are they going that way?
Now it's your turn to take a hike in the sanctuary, enjoy the fresh snow, and find those unique animal tracks. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschin. Thank you to Carol Fink for showing us her tips and tricks to finding those animal tracks in the snow. If you want to take a turn at it, you can head over to the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary and go for an animal track hike. We're going to take a short break, but when we get back, we'll be talking with health and nutrition coach Gail Taub about the difference between training and coaching and what type is the best for you. So don't go anywhere. We'll talk with Gail after the break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to the Splash, live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. We're now joined by Gail Taub, who is a personal trainer and nutrition coach here in West Bloomfield. She's also the owner of Gazelle Health, where she helps local residents to learn how to take care of their bodies while enjoying life. Gail, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Maddie. Good to be here again.
So Gail, let's talk about the topic of coaching versus training. What is the difference between the two?
Okay, so there is a difference. Very simply put, a trainer is typically someone who is an expert in a particular method or information, or in this case, we can talk about fitness. And their job is to make sure that you understand how to do something right or wrong, is to make sure that you're safe and you're learning the correct method that they are expert in, okay? Differently, a coach is someone who helps someone else achieve a higher level of well-being and performance in life for the long term, particularly when change is very, very hard. I happen to be both. I am a credentialed, certified trainer on the fitness side, and then as far as life coaching and nutrition coaching, I work with people in that way also.
Gail, for that long term, what do you believe helps people the most, whether it's the training or the coaching?
So there's a place for both, actually, and it really depends on the person who is looking for that partner. First, I would suggest knowing what your goals are. If your goals are to learn and to be given direction, a trainer might be right for you. If your goals are to make change over the long term and maintain all of the things that you do learn across the board, then a coach might be right for you. So first and foremost, you should know what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then really it's all about finding a good connection. Somebody who you trust, someone who you get along with, someone who you believe has the right approach for you. And in order to do that, first and foremost, I highly recommend you check credentials and make sure the person who you want to work with is qualified to help you in a way that makes sense for you.
Gail, if someone is going to start their fitness journey and is looking for either a coach or a trainer, what is your advice? How do they know which one is the best fit for them, whether it is to seek out a coach or a personal trainer?
Okay, yeah, so really it's about doing a little bit of homework and a little bit of research because you do want that connection and that relationship that works well for you personality-wise and task-wise. So, it really is about what it is that you're looking for and having conversations with people. So a lot of times we look to our friends or the internet or what we believe we've seen as a success story from someone else, and we just assume that that is going to be right for us. And I encourage you to really start there maybe and look around, ask around, do your research, but then have your own conversation with that professional and make sure that you feel comfortable with what they have to offer and that it fits your needs. And then you have to give it a try. And don't be afraid to give it a try. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't feel right, then you have a conversation with that person and maybe it's just not the right fit, and that's okay.
And Gail, if someone were to start their fitness journey, and don't know whether a coach or a trainer would be beneficial for them, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to maybe step up their game in the gym or start off on that path?
Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of a combination of all the things that I mentioned. When you think about your goals, you might want to think about your comfort level, your experience level, and think about it in terms of now. Try not to think about the way you used to be. If you were athletic or capable in the gym or confident and now you're not feeling the same. Think about how you're feeling now. Think about what you want, and then start introducing yourself to people. I'm somebody who would welcome a conversation without any strings attached, because that relationship and your goals and my approach, it's super important. So if nothing more, I get to meet good people and form relationships, even if it doesn't work out. But a lot of times it does. So think about what you need, think about what you want long term, have conversations with people, and be confident at least in your ability to follow your gut. Follow your gut.
Gail, you also work with people on their nutrition. People say that, a healthy body starts in the kitchen. How does the prep that you do in the kitchen, the cooking, the nutrition, play into the coaching that you give to your clients?
Great question. So when we're talking about food in particular, what your preferences are, the way you like to lead your life is most important to me. The nutrition part of what I do is on the coaching side. So that is not me telling you what to do. That would mean I'm an expert in your life, and I'm not. So my job is to listen to you, listen to what you enjoy doing, listen to what has worked for you in the past, and try and help you make your own decisions about healthy eating. With that, as far as I'm concerned, also comes the education of a very balanced, healthy eating framework, not a diet. We get on the same page and quiet the noise down, and then we have something to guide us as we're trying to figure out what works best for you. It's very individual.
And Gail, for those individual clients that you have, through the coaching and the personal training that you do, what have you seen some of the benefits for these people that maybe are going to the gym regularly, doing their exercise routine? What are some of the benefits that really a one-on-one personal trainer or a coach can give to someone who's looking to up their fitness routine?
Yeah, that's huge for some people, really, really big. Confidence level, whether it is I can do it or I can't, or I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself or re-injure or protect a body part. One-on-one proper coaching and training, it just changes the game. We get to look at each other. You get to feel safe and try to adjust the way that you're moving in order to build up to a different level. And a one-on-one trainer, there's no one else around. So it's just you and that person. And you get to feel something that you haven't felt before, which is a confidence in yourself that can lead in many, many directions, depending on what you want and what you want to do in your future. At least, though, it is a focus on you and where you're at, not judging you for what you can't do, but meeting you what you can do, meeting you where you can work, and then building from there.
Well, Gail, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning and joining us again here on The Splash.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Once again, I was joined by Gail Taub. She's a personal trainer and nutrition coach here in the greater West Bloomfield area. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you again to Coach Darren McAllister and Gail Taub for joining us this morning. Special thanks to our Zoom producer, Jared Clark, for coordinating the Zoom and making sure our guests joined us. As always, thank you to Calvin Brown, our board operator, for making the show possible each and every morning. And thank you for joining me as we explored all of the people and events in our greater West Bloomfield community. As always, you should make sure to tune in live on Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99 Monday through Friday at 9:30 to catch up on what's going on in our greater West Bloomfield community. You guys are in for a treat. You have the birthday boy Tyler Keeft on the MegaCast next. Thank you for watching The Splash Live.